15 He's being managed. Seisan, let's go get lunch. The moment the lunch break, fire hour, began, Norbert bounced over to Saikaira's desk with his usual bright voice. Saikaira narrowed his eyes at him in silence. Later. No. I'm starving to death, Seisan. Let's go. Come on, okay? Then die. Seisan, I heard that. At least lower your volume a bit. There was a reason Saikaira was reluctant. The dining hall they were dragged into. The still sparse crowd. And there, as always, a tall black shadow. Commander Aresh Indrak of the Third Knights, standing like a statue in light armor and a black mantle, expressionless as ever. Aresh spotted them and began walking without a word. Follow me. Saikaira bowed, took a tray and plates, and, without resistance, allowed Aresh to pile food onto them. The growing mountain of food made Saikaira's face pinch, but he couldn't protest. Anything he couldn't finish could be handed to Norbert. After all, Norbert was supposedly about to die from hunger. And this was already the third time. Yes, Norbert was a traitor who sold Saikaira to an important man from another department. That's a horrible way to say it, Seisan. Despite his cheerful personality, Norbert, noble-born to Saikaira's annoyance, had impeccable table manners. He gripped his fork like it was a weapon as he protested. Commander Indrak is worried about your health. I'm cooperating for your sake. If you're cooperating, Saikaira muttered, respect my will. He swallowed a spoonful of soup along with his sigh. Today's soup was thin and light, closer to onion soup. It suited him. The day after Saikaira had been nursed, hauled to the medical office, and forced to stop working overtime, Norbert, wearing an oddly stiff expression, had invited him to lunch. Saikaira had followed, confused, only to find Commander Indrak waiting. Without discussion, Aresh made Saikaira carry a plate and, exactly like today, began selecting and loading food as he pleased. And it didn't end there. If Saikaira tried to eat quickly and leave, Aresh would grab him by the scruff and drag him to the courtyard, holding him there until the very last minute of the 120-minute lunch break. You don't rest even when I tell you to, so I'll force you to take breaks. Was this man my attending physician? Saikaira didn't get to ask. From that day on, his entire lunch break was confiscated by Aresh, which meant his work didn't get done, which meant he'd need overtime. Except, Aresh had accounted for that too. When the day ended, he would appear, an escort, in practice, and forcibly remove Saikaira from the office. No matter how many times Saikaira insisted, I can eat on my own. I can go back. I'll sleep. I am sleeping. The knight's strength and refusal to listen always won. So Saikaira was made to enjoy excellent meals and leisurely time. He's supposed to be important. Why is he this involved? Back at the dormitory, even after bathing, it still wasn't what hour, 2100 hours. Saikaira gave up, opened a book on world affairs, and began planning countermeasures. He couldn't enter early. The gates stayed closed. Lunch break was gone. Overtime was forbidden. And yet the workload was endless. That left him only one option. Contains as member 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 contains as member. Before end of shift, as everyone else packed calmly, Saikaira hurriedly stuffed papers into his bag. If he didn't finish before Aresh arrived, it meant nothing. Yes, his solution was simple. He would take work home. Of course, he'd asked Helmuth first, confirmed which documents could legally be carried out, and gotten permission. Accounting had plenty of restricted material, but much of the work Saikaira had added voluntarily, projections, estimates, structural drafts, required minimal reference documents. He could build the skeleton now and add flesh later. Kondo. Time. Get out. When Aresh entered without greeting anyone, Saikaira was already packed and stood obediently. Good work today. What are you plotting? What does this man think I am? Nothing in particular. I don't waste stamina on pointless things. Aresh gave him a suspicious look, but didn't press further. Saikaira followed behind. Warm light. A calm dining room. Aresh's regular place, now their fourth meal there. They no longer ate in complete silence. Saikaira, out of courtesy, spoke first, and over the past few days they had exchanged enough words to count as conversation. Naturally, Saikaira also used the time efficiently. He asked about magic, about the country, anything he needed to know. And when he cautiously brought up the matter of thanking Aresh for saving his life, he was scolded so fiercely he nearly forgot how to breathe. He meant to thank him for the magic, but Aresh's eyes turned icy. Are you trying to treat me like a male prostitute? Saikaira didn't understand the anger triggers of elite nobles. He immediately clarified, politely, that he had no such intention. He simply wanted to express gratitude for being saved. Seeing Aresh insist furiously that he wanted nothing, Saikaira didn't push. By the way, Commander Indrak, Saikaira said carefully, tomorrow is my day off, so you don't need to worry about feeding me. Bureaucrats had fixed holidays, nights rotated. He didn't want Aresh forgetting. But Aresh didn't. I know. Rest properly. Sleep all day. Physician behavior again, Saikaira thought, and pasted on a strained smile. I can't exactly. What? Do you have errands? Not exactly errands. I'm still ignorant about this world and this country, so I'll go to the library and study. What you need most isn't knowledge. It's rest. From Aresh's perspective, a man with no mission and no need to work choosing to study at all was incomprehensible, especially while damaging his body. Let me be clear, Aresh continued. Tonics are absolutely forbidden. You aren't thinking of relying on them again, are you? Of course not, Saikaira said too quickly. Aresh's eyes narrowed. I almost died from that medicine. I won't take it again. Saikaira smiled, eyes narrowing pleasantly, hiding the faintly reduced darkness beneath them. Aresh studied his face with a look that suggested a thought he would never say aloud. When you smile like that, the deadness fades. You look less ruined. I knew it. What? Commander Indrak, why are you here? After dinner, they separated outside the restaurant, as usual. Aresh always left first. Saikaira didn't even know whether the man returned to a knight's dorm, a family estate, or somewhere else. And Saikaira, grateful for the routine, used the fact that the restaurant was close to the apothecary. He had no overtime, no time to compensate for lost work. And his body, weak to begin with, mismatched to the air of this world, was accumulating fatigue. Worse, his chronic migraines were coming back. Stress, perhaps. They resurfaced before the fatigue even did. So, despite being told forbidden, he came to the shop thinking, even a weaker medicine would do, or at least something like a painkiller. He had just started explaining his request to the shopkeeper, when a hand seized him from behind and lifted him like a kitten. Aresh was taller, yes, but this was humiliating. Commander Indrak, didn't you go home? Worried about causing trouble, Aresh hauled him outside. To that same alley. For a moment, Saikaira thought, is this a mugging scene? Then he looked up at the man who refused to release his collar. If I watch you, it's obvious you'd come here. Saikaira had tried to save time, by doing it on the way back instead of wasting his day off. And he got caught instantly. I'll tell this shop from now on, do not sell you anything medicinal. Not a single thing. What? That's abuse of authority, isn't it? Shut up. Do you even understand your constitution? Saikaira had no argument, but his body still craved that medicine. For years he'd lived with the constant drag. Heavy fatigue, dry eyes, migraines, frequent stomach pain, shoulder and back pain so severe it sometimes hurt. He had accepted it as aging. He had accepted that he would never run lightly again. Then that tonic made him feel, truly feel, like the old fine version of himself. Light body, clear eyes, no pain, no nausea, a freedom he hadn't experienced in years. He couldn't forget it. Saikaira pressed his lips together and looked away. Aresh stared down at him, exhaled heavily, and, what hurts? Huh? Saikaira almost missed the quiet question. When he looked up, Aresh repeated it. My head, Saikaira admitted. A migraine. TCH. Aresh sighed again, then gently covered Saikaira's temple with his palm. He murmured something, words or singing. In Saikaira's blurred memory, he'd heard the same sound before. Warmth seeped into the place Aresh touched. Magic didn't exist in my world, Saikaira thought distantly. So maybe it doesn't get translated. Before the thought finished, Aresh's hand moved away. How is it? What? Then Saikaira realized the crushing pain was gone. A healing spell. But, wasn't magic dangerous for him? He lifted his face to ask. And something warm brushed his lips. Just for an instant. This level can be handled with that. Aresh pulled away immediately, delivered the arrogant verdict, and turned on his heel. He left. Saikaira blinked for a moment, then, since his head was finally clear, picked up the bag full of work he'd brought. He had a feeling he'd just gained another problem to think about. But he didn't have enough information yet.